Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. With all the issues going on around the trans lobbies and the push for everyone to accept the lie that men can be women. And of course, we have J.K. Rowling being the great protector of vulnerable women in the middle of this as well. It now seems that there is another stalwart Scots woman coming to the fore to try and step in and to protect women and girls, and this time in the realm of sport. It is Judy Murray, a woman who herself has raised an Olympic champion, so she knows whereof she speaks. And yet she is saying that men should not participate in women's sports. It's completely wrong. She wants to protect women's rights and freedoms within sport, and she's calling on Rishi Sunak to adopt the phraseology within the Equality Act to make sex mean biological sex, not perceived or desired sex. As in, you want to be a lady now, which is a load of old rubbish. And she's saying that he must do it now, before the election, rather than wait until afterwards, because it's likely that if Labour get in, that these changes won't happen, because Labour will kowtow and bow to the likes of Stonewall. She is, of course, completely correct. Let's have a look at this to see why Judy Murray is now joining the fight for men to be men and women to be women. Here goes. So Judy Murray tells Rishi Sunak to protect women's sports as she wades into the trans athlete debate. The mother of Sir Andy Murray and Jamie Murray wants the Prime Minister to change... Jamie Murray's always the other one, isn't he? Anyway, Jamie Murray wants the Prime Minister to change the Equality Act now rather than wait until after the general election. For obvious reasons. Only the Tories could change it. Labour never would. They're too craven and too up the arse of the likes of Stonewall. We don't upset the trans lobby. We don't want to upset those who want to harm children. Tennis coach Judy Murray has told Rishi Sunak to get a move on in his bid to protect single-sex spaces and women's sport. The mother of three-time Grand Slam champion Sir Andy Murray and doubles legend Jamie Murray wants to see the Equality Act overhauled to make it clear that sex means biological sex, which of course it should, and it's only right. We need to protect women from inadequate, sad men who realise they're not very good at sport as men, but if they go and fight against or compete against women, they'll do ever so well because they are, obviously, men. According to reports, the Conservative leader and senior Tories are discussing making the changing of the Act an election manifesto commitment. But Murray, 64, thinks the Prime Minister should act now. And the reason, of course, is that the Tories aren't going to win the election. Not even close. Responding to the story on Tuesday on social media, the former Strictly Come Dancing contestant snapped, "What are you waiting for? Do it now." Gender critical activists took to X to thank Murray for her support. However, others agreed that Mr Sunak should take action now than wait until after the general election. One person said, yes, too many sports organisations, including the LTA, the Lawn Tennis Association, are confusing sex with gender and allowing males into female categories. I know so many women of a certain age who've turned up to women's tennis matches to find they're playing a male. Now, didn't McEnroe, and he's never apologised for the comment now, but particularly we're talking about tennis, McEnroe said that Serena Williams, probably the greatest female tennis player of all time, certainly one of the strongest, I mean, a real powerhouse, and he said that she probably couldn't beat the 1,000th best man in the world. And they did, and I think he's right, and they did a quick one where was it Djokovic, I think? Top of my head, it may not have been. It may have been the Swiss guy. But anyway, they had him serving against Serena Williams. And he just went ace, 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 ace. I think she returned. No, I don't think. She didn't even return. She hit the ball once. And it wasn't a return. It was just simply a clip of the ball. Because he has the power, the speed, the energy to whack that ball down there at 110 miles an hour. Serena couldn't even get close. And she's the best female tennis player probably of all time. And that is why it's obviously and blatantly unfair A man in a sport like tennis will always outplay a woman. Now, there's going to be some men that are really bad at it. I couldn't outplay Serena Williams, of course. I don't have the training, I don't have the ability, I don't have the expertise. But when the 1,000th man, the best man in the world, could beat Serena Williams, you know that there is no equality in sport. And that, of course, is why men must not compete against women in sports events. Anyway, the issue of female sport has caused controversy in recent years, with transgender athletes able to compete against women in some sports. The Tory leader, Sunak, has previously spoken of his desire to clarify the act. Well, it's very fine having this desire, but turn, intentions into actions. Actually do something. Change it. Have the debate and change it in Parliament. And you can get a change, you get an amendment to this very, very quickly. Speaking in 2022, he said, too often existing legislation is used to engage in social engineering to which no one has given consent. He said the worst offender in this regard is the 2010 Equality Act, conceived in the dog days of the last Labour government. He said it's been a Trojan horse that's allowed every kind of woke nonsense to permeate public life. It must stop. He said my government would review the act to ensure that we keep legitimate protections while stopping mission creep. Our laws, he said, must protect free speech, but block biological men from competing in women's sport, and to ensure that children are allowed to be children. And not just about having men not compete in sport. Let's put a stop to grown men walking into female changing rooms, getting their tackle out and saying, no, if you have a problem with my cock in a female changing room, you're a transphobe. No, they just don't want cocks. And certainly not the inadequate little ones that these men tend to have. I'm coming up, which is probably more than most of the men can do. What I find amusing, and sad really, is that the people doing the most vociferous defence of this tend to be strong, independent women, what don't need no man. Where are the men? Where are the real men standing up for women? I would stand up for my wife, for my sisters, for my nieces, for my mother. Why are these men in politics so craven, so cowardly, that they cannot stand up for what is right and decent? Why do they apologise for the degeneracy of people who would do harm to women and children? Can we start voting for men again? Actually, I don't mean males, I mean men. There's a difference. Real men who stand up, men who defend people, men who defend the vulnerable, men who are prepared to stand there and say no. Seems so very few in politics anymore, and that's why the likes of JK or Judy seem to be the ones taking the lead. Who knows? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and let us give all thanks to the likes of JK and now Judy. Bye.